My sister told me, "You're not a part of this family," and my parents agreed. She said it the way someone closes a door softly, gently, carefully, so the click sounds polite instead of final. We were standing in the dining room, steam from my mother's tea fogging the glass cabinet, the smell of cardamom thick in the air. My father didn't look at me. He just aligned his spoon with the edge of his saucer like he was measuring silence. I waited for the punchline. None came. The wall clock ticked loud enough to feel like footsteps leaving. My chest didn't tighten. My hands didn't shake. Calm can be colder than anger, and I felt frozen solid. So I nodded once, as if they'd confirmed a reservation, picked up my keys, and walked out without another word. No one stopped me. 3 days later, while they were away on their cheerful family trip, my phone lit up with 15 missed calls from my sister. I've always been the extra chair at their table, useful when needed, invisible when not. I'm the middle child, which in our house meant translator during arguments, fixer of broken appliances, keeper of everyone's secrets except my own. My sister, the golden one, was sunlight. I was the shadow that proved it existed. She cried, they comforted her. I achieved, they called it luck. When bills went unpaid, they slid them toward me with quiet smiles like I'd volunteered. I learned early that approval in our family was rented, never owned. Still I stayed. Not out of loyalty, out of habit. You don't question gravity when you've spent your life falling. I noticed things, though. The way my father only used my name when he needed something signed. The way my mother praised me most when I was leaving the room. The way my sister thanked me in public but corrected me in private, as if kindness were a performance and I was backstage crew. They thought I didn't see the pattern. But I did. And when you spend years being underestimated, you learn a quiet, dangerous skill. You stop reacting and start observing. The signs were never loud. They arrived softly, like dust settling where no one bothers to clean. At dinner, my sister would tilt her head and correct my stories mid-sentence, smiling as if she were helping me remember my own life. My father would skim past my messages in the family group chat, replying only when she repeated the same idea minutes later. My mother had a way of introducing me to guests without using my name, just this one, her hand fluttering vaguely in my direction like I was a background prop she couldn't quite label. I watched their eyes more than their words. The quick glance they shared when I spoke. The tiny pause before someone changed the subject. The polite nods that meant finish now. Once, when I fixed my sister's laptop at midnight before her deadline, she thanked me without looking up from the screen, already basking in praise from a friend on video call. I stood there a moment, reflected faintly in the dark glass, like a technician who'd repaired a machine that didn't know it was broken. No one was cruel enough to be obvious. That was the genius of it. The moment didn't arrive like thunder. It came quietly, disguised as routine. The morning after I left, I woke in my small rented room to sunlight touching the floorboards and silence that didn't judge me. No footsteps. No voices calling my name only when something was needed. Just stillness, honest, neutral mine. That's when my phone vibrated. Once. Twice. Then again. My sister's name stacked down the screen. 15 missed calls. A message blinking beneath them. Call me. It's urgent. I stared at it for a long time, noticing how strange it felt that urgency had finally learned my number. For years, I'd been the emergency contact, the quiet solution, the person summoned when something broke. But now, for the first time, I wasn't there when they reached. And nothing inside me rushed to fix it. I made coffee. Sat by the window. Let the phone keep lighting up like a distant signal flare. That was the realization, not that they needed me. I'd always known that. It was that I no longer needed to answer. I didn't block her number. That would have been emotional, and emotions leave fingerprints. Instead, I set the phone face down and opened my laptop. Old habits, observe first, act later. Years of being the family's unofficial problem solver had given me skills they never bothered to notice. I handle contracts for a living, review clauses most people skim, and spot liabilities the way others spot typos. It's quiet work, invisible unless something goes wrong. Which, in their case, it just had. My sister's last message previewed on the screen. We can't access the booking. Call me. Booking. I logged into the shared email they'd once asked me to manage because you're better with details. They'd never changed the password. Inside sat confirmations for their trip, hotel, car rental, excursion passes, all under my name, my card authorization, my digital signature. They'd used my profile because it was faster, easier, safer. Because I was reliable. I read every line slowly, like a lawyer studying a witness statement. Cancellation policies. Liability clauses. Emergency contact fields. Then I leaned back, folded my hands, and finally allowed myself a small, thoughtful smile. They had excluded me from the family. But not from the paperwork. I didn't rush. Revenge that hurries trips over its own feet. I opened each reservation one by one, the way a surgeon reviews scans before an operation. The hotel allowed cancellations by account holder verification. The car rental required identity confirmation through the registered email. The excursion passes listed me as the primary contact responsible for schedule changes. Every system recognized my name the way my family never had. Authoritative, necessary, final. I clicked cancel on the hotel first. No flourish. Just a soft tap and a confirmation message sliding across the screen like a sealed envelope. The car rental followed. Then the excursions. Each action quiet, reversible only by the same person who made it. Me. Outside my window, a motorbike passed, its engine fading into distance. Inside, the room stayed still except for the faint ticking of my wall clock. My phone lit again. Her name. Calling. I let it ring. Somewhere, I imagined them standing at a reception desk under bright lobby lights, confusion tightening their voices, staff apologizing politely while screens displayed the truth. Reservation holder unavailable. I took a sip of coffee while the call went to voicemail. The messages started arriving in fragments, like glass after something shatters. First my sister, where are you? Then, this isn't funny. Then, after a pause long enough to taste panic, please call me. My father texted once, formal, restrained. There seems to be an issue with the reservations. No accusation. Not yet. My mother sent a voice note I didn't play, but I could picture it anyway. Her careful tone, the one she used when she wanted cooperation without admitting need. Hours passed. The silence I gave them stretched longer than any lecture ever had. And slowly, their messages changed shape. Words softened. Pride thinned. My sister's final text read, "We can't check in." They said only you can fix it. Not should. Not might. Can. I realized then the stakes had never been the trip. It was authority. Value. Proof. They weren't stranded because I'd canceled bookings. They were stranded because the person they dismissed was the same person holding the keys. If you've ever been the overlooked one, you understand this moment. Not revenge. Recognition. I listened to my mother's voice note that evening. She sounded smaller than I remembered, her words careful, as if they might bruise if spoken too loudly. She didn't apologize. Not directly. But she said my name 3 times, and each time it carried weight instead of convenience. That was new. I didn't call back. Not out of cruelty, out of balance. Silence, I'd learned, is not absence, it's space. And space is where truth finally has room to stand. 4 years I thought peace meant being accepted. Now I understood it meant obeying unneeded by people who only valued you in emergencies. I wasn't angry. Anger ties you to what hurt you. I felt something quieter, steadier, like a door closing gently behind me. I sent one message, I hope you figure it out. Nothing more. No instructions. No rescue. Then I turned off my phone and opened the window. Night air drifted in, cool and unfamiliar, carrying the distant sound of traffic and possibility. Tomorrow I would sign a lease for a better place. Next month, a promotion interview waited. My life was moving forward without permission slips. They said I wasn't part of the family. And for the first time that felt like freedom.